The strange morning. The village was still asleep. A soft mist covered the fields, and the first rays of light touched the wooden roofs. Birds had not started singing yet. It was one of those mornings when the world felt silent, almost too silent, as if the earth itself was waiting for something to happen. A boy named Aaron woke up earlier than usual. He rubbed his eyes, stretched his arms, and looked outside his small window. His family was still asleep, but something unusual caught his attention. At the edge of the forest, just where the shadows of the tall trees met the village fields, a dark shape was moving. At first, he thought it was just a big animal looking for food, maybe a wolf or a stray beast from the hills. But the way it moved was strange. Its body was huge, covered with scales that reflected faint silver light. Its steps were slow, careful, almost thoughtful. Aaron held his breath as the creature turned slightly, and for a second he saw its face. It was not like any animal he had seen before. The eyes were too bright, too sharp, as if they were searching for something more than food. His heart raced. "What is that?" he whispered to himself. Aaron knew the rules of the village. Children were never supposed to go near the forest. The old people always said, "The forest is not for humans. It belongs to others." But curiosity was stronger than fear. Something inside him told him that this was no ordinary beast. Something about its movements, the way it looked back at the village before disappearing into the fog, felt different. He quietly slipped out of his small house, careful not to wake his mother. The ground was still wet with dew, and every step he took made his sandals damp. His breath made small clouds in the morning air. Aaron's mind was full of questions. Why was the creature here? Why now? And why did it look so aware? As he crossed the fields, the world felt heavier around him. The mist thickened, and the sound of his own footsteps seemed too loud. He felt both excited and afraid, like he was walking into a story he was not supposed to know. When he reached the edge of the forest, he stopped. The tall trees stood like silent guards, their trunks black against the pale morning sky. He could hear the sound of dripping water from the leaves and the faint rustle of unseen wings in the branches. The beast's trail was clear, large footprints pressed deep into the damp soil. Aaron hesitated. One step back, and he could run home. But if he went forward, his life might change forever. He chose forward. The forest swallowed him quickly. The village behind him disappeared into the mist. Strange plants grew around the path, flowers that opened and closed like breathing mouths, vines that pulsed faintly with green light. Aaron touched one of the glowing roots, and it gave off a soft, like it was alive. He pulled his hand back in shock. The air smelled strange here, sweet and heavy, like fruit mixed with smoke. The footprints grew fresher, and soon he heard it. The beast moving ahead. Its body brushed against the undergrowth, making low sounds like whispers in the dark. Aaron crouched low, his heart beating fast. Through the thick trees, he finally saw it clearly. It was enormous. Its back was arched, its muscles strong under the strange silver scales. But what caught his eyes were the movements. It was not walking like a wild animal. It was walking with purpose. Its head turned slowly, scanning the path as if it knew it was being followed. Aaron froze. The beast stopped. For a long moment, neither moved. The only sound was the drip of water and the thud of his heart. Then, slowly, the creature turned its head all the way toward him. The boy's breath caught in his throat. Their eyes met. Those eyes were not animal eyes. They were intelligent, glowing faintly like embers. In that 1 second, Aaron felt as if the creature was not just looking at him. It was reading him, understanding him, judging him. Aaron stumbled back, his foot snapping a dry branch. The sound echoed too loudly in the forest. The beast's gaze, sharpened, its body tense, ready to act. But instead of attacking, it simply stared, and then, very slowly, it lowered its head, almost like a warning, or perhaps an invitation. Aaron's hands trembled. He wanted to run back to safety, but something inside told him, if you turn back now, you will never know the truth. He took one careful step forward. The beast did not move. Its glowing eyes followed him, waiting. The morning that began with silence had now turned into something else entirely. It was no longer just a morning in the village. It was the beginning of a secret, the first step into a mystery that would change Aaron's life forever. And, deep inside, Aaron felt it too. The forbidden forest. Aaron's legs felt heavy, but his heart was pulling him forward. The beast had turned away and moved deeper into the trees, and Aaron followed, each step louder than it should have been in the quiet morning. The village elders had always warned the children, do not cross into the forest. It is the land of shadows. It is not our place. But Aaron had already crossed. He was inside now, and with every step the forest seemed to close its doors behind him. The tall trees rose like towers, their branches twisting high above to block the sunlight. Strange plants glowed faintly in the dim light. Some vines moved slowly, as if they were alive, curling toward him when he passed. Aaron brushed one away, but the touch left his skin tingling. The air was different here, thicker, heavier. It carried the smell of damp earth mixed with something sweet, almost metallic. Every breath felt like he was breathing in a secret. He crouched low and followed the beast's trail. Its massive footprints pressed deep into the soft ground, filled with water, that reflected the faint glow of the roots. He moved carefully, afraid that even a single loud step might draw the creature's full attention. At times he heard the beast ahead of him, branches snapping, the heavy thud of its feet, and sometimes a low growl that made his chest vibrate. Aaron swallowed his fear. Something inside told him he must keep going, that there was a reason this creature had appeared on this morning, and that he was meant to see it. He thought of his family, sleeping peacefully in their small house. If they knew where he was now, they would be terrified. His mother would cry. His father would forbid him to ever leave the house again. But Aaron couldn't turn back. The forest was frightening, yes, but it was also beautiful in a strange, otherworldly way. Glowing flowers opened as he passed, releasing a faint mist that sparkled in the dim light. Shadows shifted on the ground, though he could see no creatures causing them. Once, he felt a cold breath on the back of his neck, but when he spun around, nothing was there, only endless trees and fog. Deeper inside, the sound of the forest grew stranger. Instead of birds or insects, there were whispers, soft, broken words that seemed to come from nowhere. Aaron stopped, holding his breath. The whispers grew louder, like a chant carried by the wind. He shivered. This place is not natural, he thought. Then ahead he caught sight of the beast again. It was moving slowly now, almost deliberately, as if it wanted him to follow. Its silver scales caught the faint light, making it glow like a shadow wrapped in fire. Aaron crouched behind a tree, watching. The beast paused in a clearing where the roots of an ancient tree spread like veins across the ground. Strange symbols were carved into the bark, symbols that glowed softly when the beast touched them with its claw. Aaron's eyes widened. The symbols were not human. They were alien. The beast lowered its head, and for a moment, Aaron thought he saw its body shift, just a flicker, like its skin was melting, reshaping. But before he could understand, the beast gave a low growl and entered a hidden passage beneath, the roots of the tree. Aaron's breath caught. A hidden passage. He stepped out from behind the tree, drawn forward like a moth to flame. The air around the clearing was colder, charged with a strange energy that made the hair on his arms stand up. His sandals slipped on the damp roots, but he steadied himself, staring at the opening. The entrance was dark, almost too dark to be natural. It felt like the mouth of the earth itself, waiting to swallow him whole. The glowing symbols pulsed, faintly, as if warning him, "Do not enter," but curiosity burned stronger than fear. Aaron whispered to himself, "If I go back now, I will never know." He bent low and crawled into the opening. The air inside was colder still. The ground sloped downward, and the walls of the tunnel glowed faintly with lines of light, like veins. Carrying liquid fire, his fingers brushed the walls. They felt warm, alive. He pulled his hand back quickly. The passage widened into a cave, and what he saw made his heart pound louder than ever. The cave was enormous, its walls covered with carvings that shimmered in the dim glow. The symbols told stories of battles, of strange ships, of humans and alien creatures standing together. He didn't understand them all, but one thing was clear. This was a place of secrets, older than the village, older than his people, and there, in the center of the cave, stood the beast. It was no longer walking like an animal. It stood taller, its back straight, its form shifting, changing. Scales rippled and melted, and in their place appeared something terrifying yet awe-inspiring. A figure shaped like a warrior, with armor that seemed grown from its own skin, and eyes that glowed brighter than before. Aaron stumbled back, his hand covering his mouth to stop a gasp. The creature, no, the alien, turned to face him. For a long moment, silence filled the cave. Aaron's legs shook, his body telling him to run. But his heart told him to stay. The alien spoke. Its voice was deep, like thunder rolling in the distance. "You should not be here, human child."
The words echoed in the cave, clear and heavy, carrying power that made Aaron's chest tighten. He wanted to speak, but no words came out. He had found what no villager had ever dared to see, the truth hidden in the forbidden forest. And he realized, in that moment his life would never be the same again. The secret within the echo of the alien's voice lingered in the cave like thunder trapped in stone. Aaron stood frozen, his knees weak, his heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst from his chest. He had expected the beast to roar, to attack, or to chase him away, but words, he had never imagined it could speak. The alien's glowing, eyes fixed on him, sharp yet calm, like they were measuring his soul. Aaron wanted to turn and run, but his legs refused to move. He forced himself to whisper, his voice trembling, "I just wanted to know what you are." The alien tilted its head, almost surprised by the boy's courage. Its body still carried traces of the beastly form-scaled arms, sharp claws, a towering height that made Aaron feel like a shadow beside it. Yet the way it stood was not like an animal. It was upright, noble, almost human. "You should not have followed me," the alien said slowly, each word heavy, as if it had not spoken human language in years. "This place is forbidden, for your kind, and for mine." Aaron swallowed, his throat dry. Why, the alien did not answer immediately. Instead, it turned its gaze to the glowing carvings on the cave walls. The symbols pulsed faintly, alive with strange energy. With one clawed finger, the alien traced a line over the carvings. A scene lit up a group of humans and aliens standing together, holding strange weapons against a shadowy enemy. Aaron's eyes widened. "That's us." The alien gave a slow nod. "Long ago, before your people forgot, this land was shared. Humans and my kind fought side by side, but the war ended and memories faded. What remained became myths, then warnings, then fear." Aaron stepped closer, drawn to the glowing carvings. He raised his hand to touch one, but the alien's deep voice stopped him. "Do not touch what you do not understand. These walls hold more than stories. They hold power." Aaron pulled his hand back, quickly. His curiosity burned hotter now. "Then why are you here? Why hide as a beast in the forest?" The alien's expression hardened, his eyes dimmed, as if shadowed by memory. "Because the enemy has returned. I came to guard what must never fall into their hands." Aaron's heart skipped. "Enemy? You mean?" Before he could finish, The ground trembled. Dust fell from the cave ceiling. A low rumble echoed from somewhere above, far but growing closer. The alien's head snapped upward, its glowing eyes narrowing. They are searching. Already, it said, almost to itself. Aaron felt fear creep up his spine. Who's coming? The alien turned back to him, its voice lowered, urgent now. You must leave. If they find you here, they will destroy you. But Aaron shook his head, surprising even himself. No, I want to know the truth. I want to help. The alien stared at him in silence, as if weighing the boy's words against the danger. Finally, it spoke with a tone half warning, half reluctant respect. You are brave, human child. But bravery alone is not enough. There is more at stake here than your life or mine. This world holds secrets, and those who seek them will burn villages to ash. Aaron's chest tightened. He imagined his village's mother, his father, everyone trapped, under fire and shadow. He clenched his fists. Then teach me, please. If danger is coming, I don't want to hide. For a long moment, the alien said nothing. Then, with a deep sigh that echoed like wind through hollow stone, it lowered itself to one knee, bringing its massive frame closer to the boy's height. My name is Kale, it said finally. I was once a warrior of the old guard. I swore an oath to protect the last relic of our alliance. And now, I fear I cannot do it alone. Aaron's eyes lit with both fear and wonder. Relic? What relic? Kale raised one clawed hand and pointed deeper into the cave. There, at the far end, a large stone door stood sealed with glowing lines, like veins of fire running across it. Strange symbols circled its surface, pulsing faintly as if they were breathing. That door, Kale said, behind it lies something powerful, something both our peoples once trusted. If it falls into the wrong hands, it will mean the end of both worlds. Aaron stepped closer, his small body dwarfed by the massive sealed door. He could feel the energy radiating from it, a hum that made his skin prickle. He whispered, almost, to himself, and you've been guarding it all this time. Kale gave a slow nod. For many years. Too many. I hid as a beast to keep hunters and humans away. But now, his glowing eyes returned to Aaron, piercing yet uncertain. Now it seems fate has brought you here. Aaron looked back at him. Me, I'm just a boy, perhaps, Kale rumbled. But fate chooses not the strongest, but the ones who will. Listen when the world calls. And the world is calling you now. Aaron's chest tightened. He didn't fully understand, but he felt the weight of Kale's words press against his heart. The cave around them seemed larger, the shadows deeper, as if the whole world was listening. The rumble outside grew louder. Faint lights flickered. Beyond the cracks in the stone ceiling, as if ships were passing above, Kale rose to his full towering height, his body shifting partly back toward the beastly form. They are closer, he said. If they discover this place, all will be lost. Aaron took a deep breath. Fear still gripped him, but under it, something stronger began to grow resolve. He didn't know how, but he knew one thing. He could not turn back now. Kale's gaze softened just slightly, then stay close, human child. The shadows of the past are rising, and you are no longer only a witness. You are part of the story. The cave trembled again, dust raining down. Aaron glanced at the sealed door, then back at the alien warrior beside him. His life as a simple village boy was gone. From this moment forward, nothing would ever be the same. The enemy's shadowed rumble above the cave grew louder, shaking. Loose pebbles from the ceiling, the faint hum of engines echoed through the ground, vibrating in Aaron's chest. He had never heard such sounds before, not from any human machine. Kale's glowing eyes narrowed. They are here. Aaron's heart raced. Who? The enemy you spoke of. Kale gave a slow, heavy nod. They are hunters of worlds. They do not build. They do not create. They take. His voice was hard, full of old anger. And now, they have found this land again. Aaron looked at the sealed stone door glowing at the back of the cave. Are they here for what's inside? Yes, Kale said, his voice low. The relic. They can sense its power, even through the earth. Another tremor shook the cave. Dust filled the air. Aaron coughed, covering his mouth. His fear grew heavier, pressing down on him. But mixed with fear was something else, a strange fire inside. The same one that had pushed him to follow the beast into the forest. Then we have to stop them, Aaron said. Kale turned to him, surprised. You are only a child. Aaron lifted his chin, trying to hide his fear. But I can help. You said fate brought me here, so maybe this is why. For a moment, Kale studied him, silent. Then the alien's head dipped slowly, almost like a bow. Perhaps you are right. The rumbling above shifted. A sharp, metallic screech echoed down into the cave, as if claws were tearing into rock. A faint red glow flickered between the cracks in the ceiling. They are breaking through, Kale said. His claws extended, and his body shifted back into the beast-like form, stronger, faster, ready for battle. His silver scales shimmered with faint light, making him look like a living weapon. Aaron's throat tightened. He had never seen war, never even imagined fighting. But when he looked at Kale, he felt less alone. Together, they moved toward the mouth of the cave. The forest outside was no longer quiet. Strange lights flickered between the trees, red and harsh. The mist glowed faintly, not from sunlight, but from engines hovering above. Shadows moved between the trunk-stall figures in dark armor, their shapes twisted, their eyes glowing like burning coals. Aaron crouched low behind a tree. His body trembled, but his eyes stayed fixed on the invaders. They looked nothing like Kale. Where Kale's presence was strong, but noble, theirs was cruel, sharp, and unnatural. Their armor seemed alive, pulsing with red light in every step. They left the ground scorched. Kale's voice was a whisper, deep and steady. They are called the Drelith. They live only to conquer. For centuries, they hunted my kind, and now they come for yours. Aaron's breath shook. Why my people? We're just villagers. We don't even have weapons. They do not care. Kale growled. They will burn your village to ash to break the seal. They will kill all who stand in their way. Aaron's chest tightened as he imagined his home, the simple wooden houses, the fields, his mother's kind face, his father's strong hands all swallowed by fire. He clenched his fists. Then we can't let them reach the village. Kale turned his glowing eyes to the boy. You are braver than most warriors. The Drelith spread through the forest, moving in patterns too precise for wild creatures. They searched, scanning the ground with devices that glowed red. One of them stopped suddenly, its burning eyes turning toward the cave's direction. They know, Kale whispered. We must draw them away. Aaron's eyes widened. Away? How? Kale crouched low, his beast form tense like a coiled spring. I will show you. With a roar that shook the trees, Kale leapt from the shadows. His massive body crashed into the first group of Drelith, scattering them like dry leaves in a storm. Claws tore through metal, sparks flying as he ripped apart their weapons. The invaders shrieked with voices that sounded like broken metal grinding. Aaron's heart pounded as he watched. Kale was powerful, faster than anything he had ever seen. But there were too many. For every Drelith that fell, more appeared from the shadows. Red beams of energy lit the forest, scorching trees and splitting rocks. Run, Aaron! Kale roared, slashing through another armored foe. Find safety. But Aaron did not move. He remembered Kale's words in the cave. Now it seems fate has brought you here. He couldn't abandon him. Not now. Aaron grabbed a heavy branch from the ground, gripping it like a weapon. His hands shook, but he stepped out from behind the tree, his small figure lit by the red glow. One of the Drelith turned toward him, hissing. The boy's throat dried, but he forced himself to shout, Hey, over here. The creature lunged. Aaron swung the branch with all his strength. It cracked uselessly against the Drelith's armor, but the sound drew its attention fully. Before the creature could strike, Kale charged, slamming into it and sending it crashing into the ground. He turned his glowing eyes toward the boy, anger and admiration mixed in his voice. You fool, you are not meant for this fight. Aaron's breath came fast. Maybe not, but I won't leave you alone. Kale stared at him for a moment, then gave a low growl, half frustration, half respect. Then stay close. If we fall together. The forest shook as more Drelith moved in, their red lights flickering between the trees. Aaron and Kale stood side by side, one a towering alien warrior, the other just a boy holding nothing but courage, and above them, through the mist, the dark outline of massive ships hovered in the sky, their engines roaring like thunder. The true battle had only just begun. The battle begins. First scream came from the fields. Aaron's head snapped toward the sound, his heart dropping into his stomach. From the edge of the forest, red lights streaked toward the village. Trees cracked, huts burst into flames, and the quiet morning was shattered by chaos. The Drelith had found the village. Aaron's legs moved before his mind could think. No, he cried, sprinting toward the open fields. Behind him, Kale's heavy steps thundered against the ground. The villagers were pouring out of their homes, Confused and terrified, mothers pulled children close, fathers grabbed farm tools, pitchforks, axes, anything to defend themselves. But their wooden weapons looked useless against the Drelith's glowing blades and burning rifles. One by one, the dark armored figures emerged from the mist, their red eyes fixed on the village. They moved like a storm, methodical, merciless. Everyone, run, Aaron shouted, though his voice was drowned out by the roar of fire. The first Drelith raised its weapon, aiming at a cluster of villagers. Before it could fire, Kale crashed into it with a roar. His silver scales glowed as he ripped the weapon from its claws and hurled the creature aside. The villagers gasped, frozen in shock at the sight of the beast fighting at their side. But instead of cheering, they screamed louder, "It's the monster!" One shouted, "It brought them here!" Another cried. Fear turned into anger. Stones were thrown. A man raised his axe toward Kale. No. Aaron ran in front of them, his arms outstretched. "He's not the enemy. He's protecting us." The villagers hesitated, torn between terror and disbelief. In that moment of confusion, another Drelith fired. A burning bolt of energy shot past Aaron's head, exploding into the ground. Villagers scattered, shrieking. Kale growled, his voice shaking the earth. "Stay behind me, boy." The battle erupted in full force. Kale moved like a storm of silver and fire, tearing through Drelith with claws and strength. Their red weapons clashed against his scales, sparks flying with every strike. For every enemy he crushed. To more advanced, Aaron ducked behind a cart, heart hammering, his eyes wide. Everywhere he looked, the village was burning. Roofs collapsed, animals screamed. People ran in panic. He saw his mother dragging his little sister toward safety, his father shouting orders to the men. Aaron wanted to run to them, but something held him back, an invisible pull that told him he had a greater purpose here. The Drelith were not just attacking blindly, they were moving toward something. Aaron followed their line of sight and his stomach turned cold. They were headed straight for the ancient cave hidden in the forest. "They want the relic," he whispered. Kale roared in pain as a burning blade sliced across his shoulder. He staggered, but his massive hand crushed the enemy who struck him. Aaron ran toward him, shouting over the chaos, "They're going for the cave. They want what's inside." Kale's glowing eyes snapped toward him. Even in the middle of battle, his voice was steady, that we cannot let them reach it. "But the villagers," Aaron began. Kale cut him off. "The villagers' lives depend on keeping the relic safe. If it falls, nothing will survive." Aaron's chest tightened. He looked at his burning home, at his terrified family, and then at Kale. The choice ripped at him. But deep down he knew Kale was right. This was bigger than just the village. A scream snapped him back. A group of Drelith had broken through and were chasing a woman and her child. Aaron didn't think. He grabbed a fallen pitchfork and charged. His hands shook, but he rammed the wooden shaft into the ground between the Drelith and the villagers. "Over here," he shouted, his voice cracking. The Drelith turned toward him, its red eyes glowing. Aaron's legs trembled, but he stood his ground. Before it could strike, Kale slammed into it from the side, ripping the creature apart. He glanced at Aaron. "You are reckless, but brave." Aaron panted, gripping the pitchfork tight. "I won't hide. Not anymore." For a moment, Kale's eyes softened. Then his voice grew hard again. "Then you must prepare for what comes next." More Drelith advanced, their weapons glowing hotter. The ground shook as their massive warship descended lower through the clouds, its shadow covering the burning village. The villagers finally began to realize the truth. They saw the beast not as an enemy, but as their only shield. A man who had once raised a stone against Kale now shouted, "Protect him, protect the beast." Others followed, grabbing buckets of water to douse flames, pulling the wounded to safety, even hurling tools and stones at the Drelith to slow them down. The tide had shifted, but only slightly. The enemy was too strong. Kale's voice thundered. Above the chaos, "We must go to the cave. The relic must not fall." Aaron nodded, his heart pounding. Together, they pushed through the flames and smoke, heading back toward the forest. The Drelith noticed, their red eyes flashing as they changed course to follow. Aaron stumbled on the uneven ground, but Kale pulled him up, his massive hand gripping his arm. "Do not falter, boy. The fate of both our worlds walks with you." As they reached the trees, Aaron looked back one last time. The village was in ruins, fire lighting the sky, but the people were still alive, still fighting. His chest tightened with both grief and determination. He turned back toward the cave, toward the glowing door hidden deep within. He did not know what waited there, but he knew this. The battle for his village was only the beginning. The true war had just begun. The boy's choice of cave glowed faintly as Aaron and Kale stumbled inside, their bodies marked with ash and dust from the burning village. Behind them, the roars of battle echoed through the forest. The villagers still fought desperately, but Aaron knew the Drelith were only being delayed. Their true goal was here, inside the cave, behind the sealed stone door. Kel's deep voice rumbled as he pressed his scaled hand against the glowing carvings. The relic must be awakened before they arrive. If it stays sealed, all will fall. Aaron's chest heaved. He stared at the strange door, its symbols pulsing brighter now, as if sensing the danger outside. The hum it gave off was stronger than before, deep and steady, vibrating through the air. It felt alive. "What's behind it?" Aaron asked, his voice shaking. Kel's glowing eyes shifted toward him. For a moment, he seemed to hesitate, as if the truth was too heavy. "It is not a weapon of destruction, but of choice. A relic built by both our kinds long ago. Only one bound by both worlds can open it." Aaron frowned. "Both worlds? But I'm just a human boy." Kel's gaze grew sharp, almost piercing. "Not just human. Your blood carries an echo of the past. Your ancestors stood with mine. Their promise flows in you. That is why fate brought you here." Aaron's head spun. His chest felt tight. "Me? No, that can't be true. I can't fight. I can't save anyone. I'm just..." Kel's roar cut him off, echoing through the cave. "Enough. Do you not see? You stood before fire and did not run. You faced the Drelith with nothing but a branch in your hands. You chose courage when others chose fear. That is what the relic answers to, not strength, not age, but the will to stand when the world falls." Aaron froze. His body trembled, but not from fear this time. His heart raced with something else: responsibility. The stone door glowed brighter, its lines of light shifting like rivers of fire. A deep hum filled the chamber, louder than before. Aaron stepped closer, his hand rising almost without thought. "Wait," Kale said, his voice low now. "You must understand, boy. Once you touch it, your path changes forever. The relic will test you. It will ask you to give all that you are. If you fail, it will consume you." Aaron swallowed hard, his small hand shaking in the air. He thought of his mother, his father, his little sister. He thought of the villagers fighting outside, and of the fires spreading across the fields. He thought of Kale, who had guarded this place alone for so many years. His voice came out as a whisper. "If I do nothing, they all die. If I try, maybe I die. But maybe I save them." Kel's eyes softened for the first time. The warrior lowered his head, a gesture of respect. "That is the choice. No one can make it for you." The cave shook violently. Cracks split across the ceiling. As fire-red light poured through, the Drelith were tearing their way inside. Their shrieks echoed closer, their weapons buzzing. With deadly energy, Aaron's heart hammered. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and pressed his palm against the glowing stone. The world exploded with light. Aaron gasped as a current of energy surged through him. Visions flashed in his mind: humans and aliens standing together, battling side by side against the Drelith. He saw ancient warriors falling, saw promises carved in stone, saw his ancestors handing the torch of hope into the future. And in those visions, he saw himself small, trembling, but standing tall nonetheless. The relic spoke inside his mind, not with words, but with feelings. "Do you accept the burden? Do you give yourself for more than your own life?" Tears welled in Aaron's eyes. He thought of his family. He thought of the burning village. He thought of Kale, who had trusted him when no one else would. His voice cracked, but his heart was steady. "Yes," he whispered, "I will." The stone door split open with a thunderous crack. Blinding light poured out, flooding the cave. The symbols blazed like fire, the ground shaking beneath them. Kale shielded his eyes, his deep voice trembling with awe. "It has chosen you." From inside the chamber, a pedestal rose, holding a sphere of pure energy, glowing blue and white, pulsing like a heartbeat. It floated into the air, spinning slowly, then descended until it hovered before Aaron. The boy reached out, his hand trembling. The moment his fingers touched the sphere, warmth spread through his body. His fear melted, replaced by strength. His mind filled with clarity, his heart with courage. The relic had accepted him. Kale knelt on one knee, his massive head lowered. Guardian of both worlds, the choice is yours now. Before Aaron could speak, the cave entrance exploded. Fire and smoke filled the chamber as the Drelith burst inside, their red eyes glowing, their weapons raised. They froze when they saw the boy standing before the open relic. Bathed in its light, their shrieks turned to rage, louder than thunder. Aaron's small hands glowed with the same blue-white energy, his body trembling but strong. He turned to Kale, his voice steady despite the storm around him. "We fight together." Kale's eyes burned with pride. He rose to his full height, claws gleaming, his voice like a war drum. "Then let them come." The Drelith charged, their blades flashing red. Aaron and Kale stood side by side, the relic's light spilling across the cave. The boy had made his choice, and there was no turning back. The new Dawnth cave shook as the Drelith stormed inside, their red eyes blazed like fire, their armor clanging against the stone. They came in numbers, dozens of them, blades glowing, weapons buzzing with deadly heat, the air filled with their shrieks, sharp and cruel, echoing off the walls. But standing before them was a boy, bathed in light. Aaron's small figure glowed with the relic's energy, blue-white streams swirling around his hands. His heart still beat fast with fear, but the warmth of the relic gave him strength. Steadying his breath and sharpening his thoughts, Kale stepped forward, his silver scales shining bright in the relic's glow, his claws extended, his form towering, his deep voice a growl. "You will not take this world." The Drelith answered with a roar and charged out. The battle erupted like a storm. Kale moved first, slamming into the front line with the force of a falling mountain. His claws ripped through armor, sparks flying as enemies fell, but more came, circling him, striking from every side. Aaron raised his hands, and the relic's light burst outward. A wave of blue energy surged across the cave, pushing back the nearest Drelith. Their weapons flickered, some short-circuited, others dropped from their claws for a moment. The enemy staggered in confusion. Aaron gasped, the power heavy in his small body, but he stood firm. He shouted with all the strength in his chest, "This is our home. You will not take it." The Drelith shrieked louder, their fury rising. They leapt again, blades aimed at the boy. Kale roared and shielded him, his massive body striking down every foe that came close. But even Kale, mighty as he was, began to slow. Wounds burned across his arms and shoulders. Blood stained his silver scales. Aaron's heart clenched. He could feel Kale's pain through the relic, as if their spirits were connected now. "I won't let you fall," Aaron whispered. Closing his eyes, he reached deeper into the relic's energy. Visions returned his ancestors, human and alien, standing side by side, their courage burning brighter than fear. The relic's voice filled him again, soft but strong. "Do not fight with anger. Fight with unity." Aaron opened his eyes, glowing now with the same light. He raised both hands, and the cave blazed. Blue energy poured from him, not as fire, but as harmony. It spread like music, weaving through the stone, through Kale, through the very air. The Drelith staggered, clutching their heads as the light struck their rage, breaking their control. Kale felt it too. Strength flooded back into his limbs, his wounds burning but healing in the glow. He struck again with renewed power, every claw strike guided by Aaron's light. Together, they became one force, the beast's strength and the boy's courage bound by the relic. The Drelith faltered. Their lines broke. Some shrieked and fled back into the shadows of the forest. Others collapsed as their weapons died in their hands. But the battle was not over. From the entrance of the cave, a larger shadow emerged. The Drelith leader stepped forward, taller and darker than the rest, its armor burning with red fire. Its eyes glowed like twin suns, and his voice cracked the air like thunder. "You are but a child." It hissed at Aaron. "You cannot stop the tide of conquest." Aaron trembled, but he lifted his chin. "Maybe I am just a child, but I am not alone." Kale stood beside him, silver scales gleaming. "This child carries the will of two worlds. That is stronger than your conquest." The leader raised its massive blade, its red glow flooding the cave. It charged, its force shaking the walls. Aaron and Kale stepped forward together. The clash was deafening. Kale met the leader's blade with his claws, sparks exploding with each strike. Aaron lifted his hands, channeling the relic's light into Kale, strengthening every blow. The battle raged, stone cracking, fire and light colliding. Finally, Aaron felt the relic's energy peak, burning inside him like the sun. He cried out, lifting both arms. A surge of pure blue light exploded from his body, surrounding Kale and shooting forward like a wave. The energy struck the Drelith leader full force. Its armor cracked, its roar turned into a scream, and with one final burst, it was thrown back. Collapsing in a blaze of broken fire, the cave fell silent. The remaining Drelith shrieked in fear. Without their leader, they stumbled and fled, retreating into the forest. Their red lights fading into the mist. Aaron dropped to his knees, panting, his body trembling from the strain. The relics glowed dim, but did not vanish. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat inside him. Kale bent down, his massive hands steadying the boy. His deep voice rumbled with pride. You chose well, Guardian. Without you, this world would already be ash. Aaron looked up, his face pale, but determined. We won't let them come back. Not ever. Kale's eyes softened, glowing faintly. You are no longer just a boy from the village. You are the bridge between our kinds. And as long as you carry the relic's light, the Drelith will know fear. Outside the cave, the fires of the village still burned, but the screams had faded. The villagers gathered, their faces tired, covered with ash, but alive. They looked toward the forest, where Aaron and Kale emerged, one a towering silver beast, the other a boy glowing faintly with light. At first, silence. Then, slowly, voices rose. Not in fear this time, but in awe. Aaron's mother rushed forward, tears on her cheeks. She pulled him into her arms, holding him tight. His father placed a hand on Kale's scaled arm, nodding silently. The villagers, once afraid, now bowed their heads in respect. They had seen the truth with their own eyes. The beast was their protector, and the boy was their guardian. Aaron looked at Kale, then at the rising sun breaking through the mist. The fires still burned, but the light of dawn was stronger. His life would never be the same. He was no longer just a boy chasing a strange creature. He was the keeper of a legacy, the defender of two worlds, and the hope for the future. The morning that had begun with silence had ended with a promise, and that promise would guide him into the new dawn.